All right, let's talk about the world of upstream oil and gas. You know, it's a high-stakes game, and for a long time, the focus has been on these massive, expensive assets. But what if I told you the biggest gains, the real value, isn't in what you own, but in how you decide? Yeah, we're talking about a huge shift here, one that could unlock billions of dollars just by getting smarter about the thousands of small decisions made every single day. So let me ask you this. Where do you think oil and gas operations really lose value? The obvious answer, right, is some big catastrophic failure, something that makes the headlines. But honestly, that's not where the real story is. The real value leak is much more subtle and, frankly, a whole lot harder to fix. It all comes down to a constant trickle of small, kind of suboptimal choices. You've heard the phrase death by a thousand cuts, right? That's exactly what this is. Think about it. An engineer, trying to be safe, operates a well just a little bit below its full potential. It seems like a tiny, smart, conservative decision. But now, multiply that one small choice by thousands of wells across an entire field, day after day. Suddenly, you're leaving millions, literally millions of dollars on the table every year. These tiny leaks, they compound into a massive hidden problem. And that brings us right to the heart of it. This isn't some small leak we're talking about, no. This is a billion-dollar problem. But here's the key. How you frame it changes everything. This isn't an asset problem, it's not an equipment problem. At its core, it is a decision optimization challenge. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. Upstream excellence, therefore, is not primarily an asset challenge. It is a decision optimization challenge. I mean, that really crystallizes the whole issue, doesn't it? It forces you to completely shift your perspective. For decades, the industry has been all about bigger, better, more powerful assets. But what this is saying is that the next big leap in performance, it's not in the hardware. It's in the intelligence that runs it. Okay, so why is this so tough to solve? Well, because the way things are run right now, it just wasn't designed for this kind of challenge. Think about it. You've got these slow planning cycles, monthly, maybe quarterly reviews. You've got teams trying to coordinate with a mountain of spreadsheets. Everything is based on these static, fixed operating limits. By the time you get around to analyzing what actually happened, the moment to do something about it is long gone. It's a system that's just inherently reactive by its very nature.
So if you want to solve a decision problem, you're going to need a new system for making decisions. And this is where something called Autonomous Optimization Models, or AOMs, come into play. This is a totally different way to think about running upstream operations.
So what in the world is an AOM? Well, it's a continuous learning-based capability. Now, this is the really crucial part. It's not here to replace your existing systems, not at all. Think of it more like a new brain, an intelligence layer that sits right on top of your current SCADA systems, your simulators, your historians. It connects all those dots to orchestrate better, faster decisions across the entire system. And here's how it works in action. It's this beautiful closed-loop process. First, the system forecasts what's probably going to happen. Then, it plans the best possible response. It directs the execution, gets feedback on how things went, and, here's the magic, it learns from it. This isn't some quarterly review meeting, folks. This is a non-stop cycle of adaptation and improvement that's running 24/7. Okay, I know this might sound a little complex, so let's break down the AOM architecture. It's actually pretty elegant. It's built on two separate but totally complementary layers of intelligence, what we'll call the foundation and the differentiation. Here's a really simple way to picture it. On the left, you've got the ready-made AOMs. This is your foundation. Think of it like a high-performance car chassis and engine. World-class parts that solve universal problems, like forecasting. This gets you up and running, fast. Then on the right, you have the tailored AOMs. This is your secret sauce, your differentiation. This is the custom tuning, the special aerodynamics, the deep-down knowledge of reservoir physics that makes your car unbeatable on your racetrack. You absolutely need both to win. All right, so you're probably thinking, how do we actually do this? And the great news is, this is not some massive, disruptive, rip-and-replace nightmare project. The roadmap to autonomy is a step-by-step, value-driven journey. It's designed to build momentum and show you real results at every single stage. This whole journey unfolds across 5 distinct waves. You start with Wave 0, which is all about laying that foundational decision-making fabric. Then, boom, Wave 1 gives you a quick win, recovering lost production. Next, Wave 2 expands the view to optimize the whole network. Wave 3 is super important. It connects those short-term gains with your long-term strategy. And finally, Wave 4 bakes sustainability and compliance right into the system's DNA. See how each wave builds on the last? It creates value that just keeps compounding over time.
So what's the real payoff at the end of all this? What do you actually get? Well, it's a total transformation. You go from managing a bunch of separate, siloed assets to orchestrating one single, cohesive, intelligent production system. And this slide, man, it just captures the shift perfectly. Look at the before. Operations are reactive, they're fragmented, you're probably relying on the heroics of a few key people to save the day. The whole thing is conservative by design. But then look at the after. The AOM-driven system is coordinated, it's always learning, decisions become system-driven, not person-dependent, and the biggest thing, the entire operation is now optimized by design.
And the business results, they are very, very real. We're talking about recovering production way faster. We're talking about using every last bit of your constrained capacity more effectively. And maybe best of all, having a lot fewer surprises ruin your day. The key takeaway here is that planning and operations finally get on the same page, creating this amazing, virtuous cycle of optimization that just keeps getting stronger and stronger. So let's leave you with this final thought to chew on. I want you to take a really hard look at your own operations and ask yourself this simple but really powerful question. Is your system built just to react to problems after they happen, or is it truly designed to decide, proactively, intelligently, and optimally, every single minute of every single day? The answer to that question? Well, that could be the key to your entire future performance.